Hello everybody and welcome to another top 5 board gaming video. Today's topic is all about hidden movement games. So this is a relatively unique mechanic where one or more players are moving in such a way that nobody else knows what they're doing. You see this in a lot of different genres and you see it in a lot of different IPs and all sorts of different stuff, and I'm super excited to tell you guys about my personal favorites. It's one of my favorites because a lot of them involve logical deduction, which is one of my absolute favorite mechanics of all time. That said, as always, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about it. What are your favorite hidden movement games and why? Or is it something that you kind of avoid and not really enjoy altogether? Please let me know anything and everything in the comments below because you know I love to hear it all. But that said, we're going to jump right into my number 5. At number 5, I've got Captain Sonar. This is a great game for large groups of people where the idea is that you're split into 2 teams where each one is captaining a submarine. And the idea is the captain role, that person is saying which direction to go and how far and all that kind of thing. And then there's another person on the opposite team who is the radio operator. And they are listening in on what the other team is doing so that they can draw and track where they're going and essentially attempt to fit where the other submarine is on the map as everybody's going around. The thing with this game, and the reason why it's so low on the list, is because it's real time, highly chaotic, and it is definitely not everybody's cup of tea. I absolutely adore it. It's one of my favorite games whenever I can get it out. Always reminds me of things like Hunt for Red October, U-571, K-19, all of those types of submarine movies. Great game overall, but still my number 5. At number 4, I've got War of the Ring, which might seem a little bit sacrilegious because it's a wonderful game and having it so low on the list is terrible. But for me personally, there's a lot of stuff going on here such that the hidden movement aspect, while important, is not necessarily outshining anything else, which is great, right? So you've got the free folk who you're trying to gather up to fight against the forces of Sauron. You've got Sauron's forces who are trying to kill everybody. And then you've got the Fellowship who are moving, and those are the ones who are moving silently that you're trying to avoid the Nazguls and Sauron and all of that kind of stuff. If you're familiar at all with Lord of the Rings, it is a game that you have to try and play. It is absolutely amazingly well done. The mechanics are great, and it recently got a 2nd edition. But from my perspective personally, just the fact that it has so much other stuff going on with it, the hidden movement aspect is critical and very important, but it puts it a little bit lower down on my list at number 4. At number 3, I've got Letters from Whitechapel. This is a game that is all about Jack the Ripper and the police who are trying to chase him down. So when I think of hidden movement, this is the type of thing that I think of. I think of the good guys and the bad guys. I think of the push and the pull, the cat and mouse, all of that type of thing. And this game portrays that in a wonderfully well done way, with the idea being that one of Jack's murder victims is found, and then it's up to the police to go around London and try to chase him down. There are a lot of options for Jack to go to, but strategically the police can potentially corner him and do all sorts of different stuff like this. It's played over the course of a few rounds, so everybody has a chance to win. It's wonderfully well done. It's a ton of fun to play, and the best part is that you can play with a decent range of players. It's not too bad with fewer players, but obviously with more people it's a lot more fun, and Jack does get some advantages at the higher levels as well. Overall, well done game with the silent and steady and hidden movement up front. Letters from Whitechapel, my number 3. At number 2, I've got Sabotage. Very much in the vein of Letters from Whitechapel, we have the push and pull aspect of the good guys versus the bad guys. In this case, though, we have a full team on each side, where in Letters from Whitechapel, you have Jack the Ripper. Now we have the stealthy bad guys who are trying to hack the system, and then the good guys who are trying to prevent the hacks from the system. The idea is that everybody is on a shared grid, and you're trying to do programmed movement in order to get to some place where you won't be seen. So the stealthy people are trying to avoid being spotted, obviously, and the non-stealthy people, the people who are trying to stop them, are trying to catch them in the act. And so, of course, the idea is that you've got this push and pull cat and mouse, trying to run away, trying to not get caught, while at the same time trying to get your business done so that you can win the game. Again, this is so high on the list because I love the fact that it really puts the mechanic first thing forward, and on top of that, the fact that you've got the teams of people working either for or against one another makes it a lot more fun in terms of you have a semi-cooperative aspect on either side of the table. Tons of fun. Sabotage, my number 2. At number 1, I've got Fury of Dracula. This is a little bit of a step backwards in that only one person is playing as Dracula, but honestly, when I think of hidden movement, I think of monsters and creatures hiding out in the night, and that means Dracula. This isn't the newest edition of Fury of Dracula, but Fantasy Flight has done an amazing job of upgrading it and updating it so that it's much easier to play, much easier to get into, whether you're playing as Dracula or the Hunters. And the fact is that it's wonderfully well done in terms of initially the Hunters can't do much, but they're going to get more stuff, they're going to collect new items and all of this kind of thing, but at the same time Dracula is becoming more and more powerful, and so he has to be tracked down. And once he's tracked, once he's found, then it's about him trying to escape. And so the fact that you have that aspect of the hidden movement as well, where you not only have the tracing and trying to figure out where he went, you also have the idea of, I found him, now don't let him out of your sight, and go, move. But at the same time, in doing so, you take a risk of moving at night and all of this kind of stuff. I can go on and on about it. I actually did a full review of this if you're interested in it. It's an incredible game. I absolutely love it. And even though the hidden movement is not the front forward thing, as I mentioned with a couple of the other games, I find that without it, it is simply... it's not Dracula, because that is one of the pinnacles and tentpoles of the character that is Dracula to make him what he is. And therefore, Fury of Dracula, my number 1. Well, everybody, that's going to be it for me. I hope that you enjoyed this video on my top 5 favorite hidden movement games. Like I said, some of these don't put the mechanic as far forward as I might like, but at the same time, having it at all means that you've got this logical deduction and reasoning type of style of play that is required regardless of exactly how the game works, and I love that. Logical deduction is one of my favorite mechanics by far, and so this is a great way to implement it, and these are some great games that do it in a way that make it a lot of fun, if a bit chaotic. But that said, of course, I want to know what you guys have to think. Let me know what your favorites are in the comments below. Let me know what you like and what you don't like, and why, because I love to hear anything and everything and have great discussions with you all. And of course, as always, if you haven't done so already, please take a look at my various social media pages, where you can interact with myself and my channel in a whole bunch of really fun and interesting ways. And last but not least, we are still fighting COVID, so everybody please stay safe, stay inside as much as possible. If you're going out, wear your masks, do your social distancing. We are beating this thing, we are fighting this thing, we've got our vaccines, we've got treatments that work, we know that we can push it back, even if it's pushing back against us with some variants and all of this kind of stuff. We can beat it, we will beat it. We just have to be strong, and let's just stay inside and play some board games. With that, thank you very, very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.